Hey, I'm Jordan with Jordan Plays Blue. This is my, what month is this? April. April, it's currently May. So we're talking about April 2022, and just wanted to talk about some of the games that I played. April was a good month. I played some good games. I went away with family for a weekend, which was a lot of fun. We played a lot of good games there. Some games that I'm not going to necessarily dive into, but I played Pastali for the first time, which was fun. Super thinky game, really crazy trying to wrap your head around that one. I played a lot of Las Vegas, the dice game. My family loves that one, and I really enjoy that one too. That one was a ton of fun to play with them. I taught them Azul for the first time, and they really enjoyed that one. I played Juicy Fruits for the first time in a while, so it was a great time. I really enjoyed my time with my family there, playing some games with them, and then just hanging out and doing some other stuff. So let's talk about some games I enjoyed this month first. One of my favorite games that I played for the first time and played almost all month is Kabuki Sumo from BoardGameTables.com. Now, I bought this game off of somebody off of the Facebook Marketplace. There's a local group that buys and sells board games, and so that is definitely one that if you play games, you should definitely try to find a local group like that, because you can always try to find something. So I bought a bunch of games from them. I haven't played many of them, but Kabuki Sumo is absolutely fantastic, and it's one that my kids have really enjoyed, and also the adults that I've been around have also enjoyed this one. It's a coin pusher game, so you're going to have this platform, and you're pushing these discs on there, trying to knock off your opponents, but you also have these special actions you can take and these special pieces you can take and try to push them around. Pure dexterity game, not a lot of strategy, but a lot of fun, laughing type moments. Really good. I've really enjoyed this one. I played it for the first time actually at PAX, but they sold out of it at the convention, so I couldn't pick it up. And I finally got myself a copy, which I was really happy about. So Kabuki Sumo, enjoy this one tremendously. Really good. And another one from BoardGameTables.com that I played a lot of this month was Factory Funner. Now this one, I don't want to give it a negative review, but this one is a bit more mixed. I ultimately enjoy this game, but it comes with some caveats. So first, Factory Funner has, production-wise, the artwork is really great. The pieces are really good. The version I have has a wooden insert in it, and frankly, I cannot imagine this game without this wooden insert in here, because this box is an absolute brick. It is filled to the brim, and I don't understand how the pieces would fit in this box if I didn't have this insert. And so if you don't have this insert, I don't know how you're going to get it back in. So that frustrated me. I'm glad I have the insert, obviously, but you know, it's annoying to see them, places pack boxes like that. It happens. I appreciate board game tables trying to keep everything compact and not a lot of airspace and things like that, but I think Factory Funner could have stood to have a bit more space in the box, make it a little deeper, that kind of thing. But the gameplay is really puzzly. This is a game that you're playing up here. You're not playing it so much at the table or with the other players. It is more so you trying to puzzle this thing out. It does have a speed aspect to it where you have these tiles, and then everybody's supposed to grab a tile and first. I don't like that version. I prefer the version that doesn't have the speed element. I think that kind of, I don't know, it almost asks for more bad play. I prefer things to be more, if you're playing a thinky game like this, I don't want there to be so much frustration when it comes to grabbing a tile that doesn't fit. Yeah, you need to be able to think about that. So I don't play the speed aspect of it. I don't know if I've really played this with anybody who has enjoyed it. It is almost too thinky for many of the people I was playing with. It's very hard to wrap your head around how the inputs versus the outputs. All the machines that you're adding to your board need a certain colors coming in and certain colors coming out, and you need a certain amount of that color coming in and coming out. And I think it makes sense, but at first blush, it is very difficult to wrap your head around the dots mean this, the numbers mean that, this color means this color means that. The black, you actually have to use a special piece. And there's just a lot of those kind of little things that make things a little tricky for new players. I have preferred playing this game solo. In the solo mode, you just have a stack of these machines. You flip one over, you put it down, move your pipes around to make it connect, you score your points. You flip over another machine, you do the same thing. I have enjoyed that doing that more, because I think the game is, when you're doing that, the game is more of a, can I succeed with these parameters, instead of how can I beat the, you know, I'm lagging behind against the opponents. And I think I really enjoy the idea of, you know, can I accomplish this, instead of how well can I accomplish that? And I think that works better for me. So Factory Funner, I enjoy it, but I think I enjoy it with that kind of caveat to the experience. I prefer it as a, can I accomplish this, not necessarily of how can I accomplish this better than the other people at the table. So Factory Funner, I enjoy this one, but more as a solo experience than as a multiplayer experience, and definitely not with the real-time aspect. Another game that I have absolutely fallen in love with this past month is Mandala Stones. This is a abstract strategy game. It feels reminiscent of Azul. It has those chunky pieces like Azul, but these are round instead of Azul being square. But it doesn't necessarily play like Azul, but it has a similar feeling to Azul, where there is a shared board, a shared space on the table where everybody is taking tiles and then putting them on a player board, and then you score them on your player board. And I think that kind of cadence feels similar to Azul. This one plays totally different though. So in it, you're going to have these stacks of discs of different colors, and they have these two different symbols on them. And you're moving these pawns around the board. Wherever you move the pawns each have a symbol printed on them, and you move them to a space, and you can collect all of the tiles of of any color that have those symbols around them. You stack those up, you put them on one space on your board, and periodically throughout the game you can choose to kind of rest, and you can take a scoring action where you're going to score the colors that are on the tops of your stacks on your board, and they're going to score in different ways depending on where they are on the different spots in your player board. So depending on the height of them in the stack, the colors of them in the stack, that kind of thing. And it just works really well. It's very quick. Very easy to teach. It's a little tricky at first maybe to see the different symbols on them, because it's kind of a pattern instead of a shape. So that's a little difficult, where it's like patterns over here, colors on your player board. But ultimately, I think this one works really well. It feels familiar. It also, it's one that you can kind of get in and out of pretty quickly, especially at 2 players. You can plan ahead a little bit on the shared board. It plays in 30 minutes, which I think is right. But I've really enjoyed Mandala Stones. It is an abstract game, but it's also really pretty, and has just kind of a nice. It's not too thinky. It's kind of a breezy, comfortable kind of game. So Mandala Stones from Board and Dice. I've really enjoyed this one. So usually in these videos, I usually cover a game that I didn't like as much as the others, and honestly, April was really good to me. I don't know if I had any super negative reviews going up on my Instagram page. I'm trying to think back. I don't really think I had any. So we're just going to talk about another game I really enjoyed, and this one is Marvel XMen United, and this is the kind of follow-up to the Marvel United that came out last year, the year before, and the X-Men version came out end of last year, and now we're all waiting for our expansions, and people have gotten them. You know, of course, not me, but other people have, and I finally painted it, and so all my pieces are painted in here, and I didn't want to play the game until I had it painted. So this one was a lot of fun. I don't have any sort of connection to X-Men other than seeing some of the movies a while ago. Yeah, I'm not against the X-Men theme. It's just not one I'm super excited about. I don't have any affinity towards any of these characters. I think Magneto's a lot of fun. There's a mural of Magneto here in Pittsburgh that I drive past a lot, and I think that's a lot of fun. But I generally speaking, I think this box is has some good variability in it. I think it is a more interesting base game compared to the original X-Men, or the original Marvel, mostly because this one has essentially 4 villains instead of 3. The original Marvel United box had 3 villains. This one has 4. So it has Juggernaut, Sabretooth, which are straight villains, but then also Mystique and Magneto, which can be used as heroes or villains, which I think is a nice twist in this new X-Men version, where it comes with villain cards and hero cards. And so it has, because every single villain creates a different scenario, a different game to play with in this. And this is, again, if you don't know, this is a cooperative, not skirmish game, but a cooperative game where you're battling a villain, and the villain is going to have a deck of cards, and you flip it over every so often. They move, maybe deal some damage to you, cause some other stuff to happen at the board, you know, pandemic style almost. But works really well, and each villain is going to play differently. And so having 4 in the box, the base box, is a lot of fun, and also having 2 of those as also heroes adds the hero variability as well. So I think this one works well. I was thinking about these characters versus the original. Like, I have everything for the original Marvel United. I don't know if I like any of these characters. I don't think any characters in this base box are among my favorite characters in the greater X-Men, or greater Marvel United. I think they're all kind of middle of the pack, but I think this one is probably a better base box. I don't actually think any in the original base box are among my favorites either. So I think these are pretty accessible types of characters. I think they play really well, and I think they work well, especially in the context of this game. But I don't know if they're, in the grand scheme of things, I think most of my favorite characters from the original Marvel United are probably in expansion boxes. That's just kind of how it goes. But one of the other twists in this X-Men Marvel United was a super villain mode, where you could actually play 5 players now. So 4 heroes and 1 person plays as the villain. And I think it's interesting. I have played it, and but I don't necessarily think it is, you know, it's not something I'm probably going to play a whole lot. I think maybe only if there's a 5th person who really wants to play. It feels like when you're playing as the villain, it doesn't necessarily feel like you're playing the game. It almost feels like you're keeping track of things, and just kind of, maybe you make a decision because you're making a decision about which card to play. But so many of the villain cards are similar. You don't always have a ton of options, and yeah. So it almost feels like it's still playing itself. You're just kind of directing it in a certain way, but it's fine. It's just not one I'll probably play a lot. I prefer, if I'm playing this, I prefer to play it fully cooperative, I think. But X-Men United, if you're into X-Men, hunt down a copy of this. I think this is probably a great X-Men kind of game. It's the characters feel thematic. They feel different. I really enjoy that. And I think if you have the original Marvel stuff, this is going to add some new interesting twists to it, and also just add more characters, because I think this is a system that thrives on just having more characters and more content for it. I did not get everything for X-Men United. I feel like I have a ton already in the base stuff, because I have everything for original Marvel United. So I have this base box. I also got Fantastic Four, and I think I got the Kickstarter box as well. I'm still deciding if I'll keep that. I don't think I know a single character in the expansion box. I know Fantastic Four, I'm familiar with that. I don't think I know anything in the Kickstarter expansion box. Maybe Nightcrawler's in it. But I am, like I said, I have no attachment to the X-Men theme, and maybe I'll enjoy it. I think maybe there's probably some cool characters in there. I think some of my favorite characters from Marvel United were ones that I had never heard of before, and just I like how they play in the game. So we'll see. But X-Men Marvel United, I know everybody's waiting for their pledges, and everybody is posting about it on the internets. I'm still waiting for mine, but you know what? This base box is still a lot of fun. So that's it. That's April 2022. I hope you've enjoyed this video. All, 30 of you that have watched it, maybe watch the video a second time. That helps me. It doesn't help me. I don't really care. You watch it or not. You could turn this off. But if you've watched this up until this point, thanks. I really appreciate it. I enjoy talking to my phone in the basement because my wife gets tired of me talking about board games. So I get to talk to you guys, and I really appreciate that. So, yeah, subscribe if you're not. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I've been doing some stuff on TikTok again, which is a lot of fun. And I think that's it, guys. All right. Let me know if you've played these games, and if you joined them, what did you enjoy in April? All right. I'm Jordan. Thanks.